trying to like stealthily hit the streaming button so you would have no idea that we were on. I know, my mouse is too... These Apple mice are just too loud. Good evening, everyone. You're not even going to say good evening or hi or...
Oh, bonjour.
I'm James.
I'm Evie.
This is Living for Crits. And...
This is a squeaky chair.
It is a squeaky chair, I'm sorry.
Why did you give me the squeaky chair?
Because you got the squeaky chair.
I don't want a squeaky chair.
Well, you got the squeaky chair. We can argue next week over the chair placement. Evie's in a funk because of the chair she's in.
That's not true.
Somewhat true. Alright, well this is going to be a fun video tonight. This Living for Crits is all about the coronavirus and COVID-19.
What's COVID-19?
You're going to find out in a second. It's the same thing. It's just the technical term for COVID-19, for coronavirus.
Oh.
We thought we'd stay topical, and I don't know if there's any other videos out there for gamers, for tabletop gamers especially, that talk about, you know, what the coronavirus is and how to stay safe during this season, this situation we're dealing with in the world stage. So we thought that maybe we would make it our topic tonight, and we're going to go through just how you can still enjoy the gaming hobby through this epidemic, pandemic, whatever it is, the time of recording or viewing when you're watching it. What's this?
Looks so short.
Well, sit up then. We're gonna cover taking precautions at your game table with your own playing groups. We're gonna cover convention gaming, and then we're gonna talk about what to do if you're just trying to practice social distancing, which is when you're trying to stay away from public spaces or being around lots of people. We will. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, here's the updated game room. Woo! We now have the bar up. This bar came from Wayfair. We have
doesn't look like a bar.
Our bucket of bennies.
Why does it look like a bar?
You know what? From the other side, it kind of does. It is a bar. I mean, whether it does or it doesn't.
I thought it was supposed to have bar stuff.
Like what?
I don't know.
I mean, this is what you hang glasses underneath this, and you put wine bottles in the bottom. So, I mean, it's a bar.
It look like a bar.
It's a bar.
We should get, I don't know, a bar thing.
I don't know what that means.
Just like, I thought it was gonna have something like up here.
It does. It has a wall, and it has the thing over here of Dale Dogfoot.
Not the wall. It's the thing.
All right. Well, with that said, before we move into the COVID-19 preparedness, let's talk about just this weekend and
Seuss.
What?
Da 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 da. Seuss.
It was Seussical weekend.
Yeah.
And Evie was full on
Seussing it.
So it was a big week. Very busy. Very little gaming going on with your friends.
Oh no, we're busy next weekend too.
What was next weekend?
Camp Rock practice.
Yeah.
And guess what's after that?
Camp Rock, the musical.
Uh-huh.
That's right. I got to game.
After that?
What?
Sound and music practice.
Well, I guess you're not gaming anymore. I guess we'll have to have an empty chair there. We'll have Cooper sit there.
No, I will let Cooper right now.
Are you coming back?
Yeah, I'm coming back.
Okay.
My sad chair.
I got to play Shadow of the Demon Lord yesterday and kill a player character, so that was fun.
You played Shadow of the Demon Lord yesterday?
I did. I play every Saturday at 7 a.m.
You wake up at 7 a.m.
And then I wake up at 6:30 a.m. and play Shadow of the Demon Lord. Next week it'll suck with the time change, that's for sure.
The time change already started.
I know. But it's going to suck next weekend getting up on a Saturday at essentially it's like 5:30. You know what?
To it by then.
Listen up, low energy. Why don't you get the Judge Evie Presides question out?
Okay. Do you know who it's from?
I think it's from Greg.
No, it's from Garrig.
I think Greg sent 3 questions. Why don't we read the first one this week? So I think the coronavirus thing's going to take a lot of time.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, dang nabbit. Oh, sugar cubes. I assumed it. What? I don't want to.
I think you know what the question is.
I know, but I want to read it anyway. I.
Just say what it is.
Okay. Question 1. Are any members of your theater group also in your gaming group? Yes.
Yes.
Bab.
And that's it. Yes, the party's cleric.
Mm-hmm.
And then Eric.
We're working on John.
Eric, the cleric's daughter's in it.
Yeah.
Not that he plays a cleric, but yeah. So there you go. Yes. It is not spread. I mean, a lot of 5e players in your theater group, or not really? I don't know. All right. On that note, let's move into COVID-19.
COVID-19! Woo! Coronavirus! Woo!
All right. Well, if you've just returned from the Purple Planet and don't know what the coronavirus is, because maybe you just game a lot and you don't watch like the news. The coronavirus, or COVID-19, is a respiratory virus that is spreading throughout the world. And if you want a lot of detailed information, you can go to cdc.gov.
Yeah.
It covers the symptoms, the concerns, serious questions, and etc.
Basics are.
Yeah. Well, don't read it verbatim like that.
Basics are.
Well, this
wash
is
your hands. Yeah.
Wait, just before you start reading, let's say what that is. So the
symptoms are feelings that you get before you get sick. Concerns are something you're worried about. Serious questions are questions you feel are important, etc. is everything else. Basics are...
These are the basics that someone has to know.
These are the basics you have to know before you get the coronavirus.
No. These are the basics of what to do right now.
So you don't get the coronavirus.
Correct.
That's what I said.
It wasn't, but go ahead.
Yes, it was. Wash your hands. Okay, first, if you don't wash your hands, you icky. Okay. If you can't wash your hands, which you should always be in a location where you can.
You guys don't wash your hands enough.
I wash my hands.
Okay.
Make sure to carry hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol content. I do that. I carry hand sanitizer in my pencil case.
You should.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else?
Try to limit exposure to public space. I go to school.
Yeah, you're stuck.
Especially if you have a condition that affects your immune system. Nah, I just go to school.
Well, for now.
I drink enough grape juice.
I don't know if that counts, but okay.
Mom makes us drink grape juice. She says it's good for your immune system.
Okay.
Okay, cover your mouth when you cough. Yeah, you gotta go like this.
Yeah, so you dab when you cough, right?
No, you gotta do the vampire sneeze.
Or cough into a tissue.
Who coughs into a tissue?
I don't know. All right, what's the last thing that we have here?
Most important, stay home if you're sick. I have a story. Oh my god.
Okay, what's your story?
People in our class right now have been going to school and they're like, we have fevers. What are we gonna do? And we're like, well, you should stay home. And they're like, well, we wanted to come to school anyway. And then we're like, go to the nurse. And the nurse is like, oh, it's just a fever. You can stay at school. And we're like, we don't want your nasty, icky germs. And so we kicked them out of our classroom. Our teacher just let them back in.
Well, while you have to go to school, you don't have to play tabletop role-playing games right now. It's not required. You won't get in trouble for not playing role-playing games right now. So with
you will if you're me.
Maybe. Occasionally. You get in trouble because you don't run any role-playing games. That's what you get in trouble for.
Well, I'm just trying not to get the coronavirus. That's why I'm not running games.
So being that tabletop role-playing is a social hobby, all of this going on right now presents some significant challenges for everyone in the hobby. Both those people that are running games at home or in gaming stores, and those people that are trying to play in those games. They're trying to find. I'm sure right now, as time goes on, you'll see maybe less games in public and whatnot. So we're gonna look at this and how you can still progress with your gaming life despite all this going on. And the first thing we're going to talk about here, and I'm going to cover this one since you covered the last thing. Yeah, I'm going to cover this.
You told you boarded it for me.
I know,
you boarded it.
You can come back into it though, okay? You can come back in. This is pretty important, okay?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, you can go back and forth, okay?
Everyone listens to me if I say it.
Do they? I scratch my nose. I hate scratching my nose because the only thing
we're talking about
not touching your face
and using your. Oh my goodness! See, you can't even talk about this because you don't have.
All right.
The good
so what's the
hygienes.
first thing? What's the first thing to know
nose.
about if you're running a home game? What should you be doing?
Have good hygiene.
Which means what?
Don't stink.
That's not what it means.
Don't touch your nose.
What it means is wash your hands.
Get a shower.
That it means that as well. It means wash your hands. It means don't
use
cough.
Bath and Body Works spray.
It means don't cough into your hands and then touch things around. Don't touch people's dice. Don't touch
people's dice in general. You'll curse them.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Don't share pencils if you don't have to. If you're a GM and you're running the game at your home, if you're not a GM, if you're running the game at your own home, you should make sure that you are cleaning your area.
Get them wet ones wipes.
You want to make sure that you're disinfecting the tables, that you are making sure everything around you is the players are going to be sitting at that has all been cleaned. And if you have, if anyone in your home has been sick, really consider not having the game at your home at that point and having it somewhere else. Okay. Greg mentioned sanitized surfaces, all surfaces. It's more than sanitize. You need to disinfect. So you need to look at CDC.gov has a list of what disinfectants you should be using. Lysol disinfectants work great. Stick to those if you can. It will be hard right now, I think, to find sanitizing wipes or disinfecting wipes. So if you rely on disinfecting wipes,
can't you just get them off of Amazon?
No, there are shortages of some of these things, but a paper towel or a microfiber rag and spray disinfectant is fine. If you absolutely can't find any of this, don't host the game at your home. All right? So make sure your players wash their hands frequently through the game. And I think there's a fun way to play this up, and that is with hand washing luck, bennies, experience, inspiration, or fortune. So every so often through your game, first off, having the communal luck bin, this might not be the best idea during coronavirus. So maybe for the purposes of playing during the spring of 2020, and hopefully not in the summer of 2020, but if we need to, but for that period of time, if someone goes ahead and maybe every half hour, you say everyone gets a point of hand washing luck if you go and wash your hands. Some way to just have people, get used to the habit. I don't know. What do you think of that one?
My eyes itchy, but I can't itch it, so I'm just going like this.
Are you ASMRing with your eyeballs right now? All right. What's another thing that we should do as session runners, as hosts for games?
Why'd you pin a new note?
I didn't. I highlighted the thing for you to talk about. Dope.
Oh, directly ask players to stay home if they are sick. You don't want me coming and spreading your germs everywhere. If you sick, you stay home, you sick. You might feel bad like, oh, I can't come to the game. Yeah, we don't want you here, so shoot. Adios.
There's a nicer way of saying that, and it's just, hey, if you don't feel well, please don't play today. Please don't come over. During this season, so I've had too many players come over my house or come to when we used to run the Norwin game nights in Pittsburgh. They would come and they'd be like just snotty up and down their face. They'd be sneezing on everything, sneezing on our games. We have copies of games we don't like to play. Board games, we watch people like picking their nose and wiping their mouth and then playing our Ticket to Ride. So, Ticket to Ride is a bacterial nightmare in our house right now. So we don't go into that one. But when you're asking players to come over, maybe check with them directly the day of the game. How you feeling? Just making sure everyone's fine at home in your house. It really is your responsibility as a player to make sure your GM or the host of your game knows how you're feeling, but it's also your responsibility to expect that, or I'm sorry, it's also your GM's responsibility to protect their home and their family. So there's no reason why you should be putting them at risk of anything, especially if you really are sick. Even if you feel a little bit off, consider not coming in for that game. And GMs, maybe you can offer ways to let your players stay home and join in electronically if that's possible. So whether they can Skype in or
Who
whether
uses Skype anymore?
they could Zoom in.
What the heck is that? You FaceTime. That's what you do now.
Or FaceTime in.
That's called FaceTime.
What else can you do here?
Oh, you can move your game online. Just don't make it at 6:30 in the morning, because that's for losers.
I don't know. I've had 8 sessions of Demon Lord so far in the last 2 months, and it's fantastic. Some of the best role playing I've ever seen. Who's a loser?
I don't know. Someone's texting me, but I'm not going to go look at it. Heck you.
There
Not
are
Baby
plenty
Yoda.
of ways
Don't heck that.
to game online, and we're going to talk about that in a second here.
Check my phone again.
I saw. But you should consider moving your game online for the time being if you can, just to mitigate all risk and whatnot, so you can just have a good time and not have the stress of what's going on, around you, I guess. I don't know. So let's discuss, I don't know. Let's discuss convention gaming. Actually, before we discuss convention gaming, there was a section here I didn't write down in our show notes when I talk about with game store gaming, because there's a lot of folks that play at their game stores, whether they do Adventurers League or we have our Delaware Valley Savages group that has a meeting, and they met today. I wasn't able to be there, but that's something where I think it's a little bit of a gray area of comfort right now with regards to you're expecting that the game store owner is taking care of the space. So if they aren't, if you think the game store maybe isn't as clean as you'd like it to be, I would suggest that you ask the game store owner if you could bring sanitizing or disinfecting wipes with you or chemical with you to clean the table you're playing. And if you have players you don't know, again, have sanitizer for the table at your table with you. You can have that little jug of it.
If they don't use the hand sanitizer, they die in the game.
If it's 0 level characters especially, why not? So convention gaming. This is the one that I was thinking I might get a little flack for. So it might be crazy to say it, but my recommendation right now for the near future, March, April, May, we'll see how June comes, but I would really recommend that people don't go to gaming conventions at the moment. Especially if it's in a area that is highly affected, which I think soon will be a lot of the country. I hope it's not the case, but people from all over the country go to gaming conventions, and they're on trains and planes and buses and Ubers, and they're transmitting their germs everywhere. So if there's ever a time I'd say hold off on going to gaming cons, this might be that time. And I know it's painful to hear, but I think I think gaming conventions are some of the worst places to be during when there's any kind of virus or bug going around. Everyone's in close proximity. There's a lot of poor hand hygiene going on. Everyone's touching everything. They're touching dice. They're touching tables. They're touching drinks, touching food. They're just being gross. I think gaming conventions in general are pretty gross. I mean, they're kind of they are, aren't they?
Yep.
On top of that, everyone's mind is preoccupied during a gaming convention. They are thinking about their characters. They're thinking about the game, what's happening at the table. They're not thinking about picking their teeth with their fingers, coughing into their hand, and then high-fiving their friend. Greg says they're slightly better than a cruise ship. I would venture that may be true. We'll see, I guess, right? At least on a cruise ship, I'm sorry, at least at a gaming convention, you get to go home afterwards or to a hotel. Where in a cruise ship, they keep you off the shore.
Stuck on the boat.
If you are going to a gaming convention and you're dead set on it, if you have GaryCon coming up, please please take seriously the recommendations at cdc.gov. Go online, look for ways to keep yourself like sanitary if you can, or disinfected however you can. Keep your hands sanitized. They say masks are really not helpful at all for preventing catching the coronavirus. It is a very contagious bug virus, because no one's body has ever seen anything like this before, or at least this one. That's the whole novel term, right? It's new. So it seems to be spreading very quickly, and it's if you're at a convention, you want to put yourself at the least amount of risk possible. So if you can't carry appropriate protective chemicals, such as disinfecting wipes and sanitizer, don't go to the con. Don't get other people sick at home.
That's so sad.
Yeah, there are other ways to play if you are practicing social distancing. So, what's funny with that? Why is it funny?
You looked at it and you were like, social distancing.
Well, I'm just trying to be matter of fact, I guess. I don't know. This is a more serious topic than typical.
Oh, sorry. Man, I'm famous right now.
Are you? Who's your text from? Get your phone. Is it from?
It's the shirt stump bait.
Is it anything has to do with the game or the show?
Ugh, yeah, no, it's nothing with the show. It's all boring. Camp Rock stuff. Imagine.
Gosh. So.
And the shrubs. They're talking.
Some things to do while you're. You have some comments here. Fickle GM, instead of a high five, I'm trying to promote the sky five, preferably from at least 6 feet apart. 6 feet apart. 6 feet apart. Billion6, what's up? I think a 6 foot sky five would work. You almost hit me in the face earlier tonight. That's not the sky five.
I can't hit in the face because I got the good hygiene, Can't hit that in the face because that wouldn't be the cleanliness. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Can I have the arm rest?
Yeah, sure. So if you're practicing social distancing, which is trying to game in places trying to stay away from groups of people. Some things you can do are run online tabletop RPGs through Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds, or if you don't want to get that, technical, if you're not comfortable with the virtual tabletops, you can do Skype, Discord, or Zoom.
What is Zoom?
Which are also capable of running online games. My Demon Lord game is on Zoom.
What is a Zoom?
Don't worry about it. You could also do play by email or play by post. You know what play by post is?
No.
How about play by mail? Maybe our viewers will do a play by mail where you write letters and mail them to people about your characters doing.
That sounds painful.
That was the 80s.
Good thing we're not in the 80s anymore. Okay.
Play by was there a play by bulletin board service in the 80s? Lone Jedi is a huge fan of Fantasy Grounds. Yeah, I think that, doing Fantasy Grounds and Roll20, if you can get your groups on there right now, especially if someone's not feeling so great, that's the place to be. Any virtual tabletop would work, but I think being online right now is probably the safest. I don't know. And then focus on games that encourage theater of the mind if you don't want to get that technical. If you want to just play on Discord with audio instead of video, do like Dungeon Crawl Classics or other fancy theater of the mind games, or take any game you have. I think most games can be theater of the mind with the exception of D&D 4e. So I think what other tips do you have, Judge Evie, about dealing with this COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak and how it affects gaming? Anything that I haven't written down here? Any suggestions for the audience from Judge Evie? Fickle GM is going to play by telegraph.
Ugh, that's even worse. Those got issues, man.
No, you play Deadlands. But you know what? Deadlands by telegraph would be pretty awesome. Just gotta say.
That's got an exception.
No?
I'm thinking.
I will note that while Judge Evie thinks, if there's any questions they want to toss out from our viewers that are watching right now about gaming with the coronavirus all around us,
send me questions.
You can definitely send us questions at dccjudgeevie@gmail.com, and you could say they're for me either way. While I'm not like an expert on it, just due to some of what I have to do for work, I have to be very read up on the topic, and it's been a focal point of my week this week. So I'm trying to stay connected while not being too over the top. I promise. I waited the full week until watching Contagion on Friday night.
I know what that is.
It's a great movie. I recommend. We can have a Contagion party and watch Contagion together, and then play Pandemic afterwards.
I'm good. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So anything you want to offer?
No, I don't know.
No. Okay. All right. Well, that's our show. We're gonna wrap things up here with we will do.
Wait, did we do a shout out?
It was a Kickstarter shout out. So what's coming down the pipeline, Evie?
The Greatest Thieves and Lankamar.
It's not out yet, but the Kickstarter for that is coming out soon from Goodman Games. So jump into that as soon as you can. Once that comes out, that's the mega adventure that was featured at Gen Con 2019. Mm-hmm. And Billion6 says, wouldn't it be cool if you could cure the coronavirus with citrus? Then everyone would have Corona with lime.
Isn't that a beer?
It is, and I don't think the Corona beer is doing very well right now.
Really?
No, they're not.
Why? Just the name.
They're not.
Whoa, what happened to our thing?
I don't know. I think we're okay.
We froze. Oh, ew.
Well, we're doing the best we can.
We did our best.
We're doing our best.
Mm-hmm. Okay. D6 Games, Rochester, Minnesota, Monday.
That's the Road Crew shout out.
Yeah.
You want to say, okay, so, yep, there you go. D6 Games in Rochester, Minnesota on Mondays are still having their events. So, yeah. I think at some point here in the near future, we're going to do a full video tour of the gaming room here.
Like how you used to do on your laptop, and you're like, let's look around my house because all my Cadillacs is What was that on?
Why is that the impression of me?
I don't know.
I've never more felt like Chevy Chase.
What was that
from
called?
Like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
OS Rebellion.
The OS Rebellion, yeah. Well, it wasn't just. I had a couple. You know what? I'm gonna link everyone to the video of you. Welcome to Living for Crits.
Ew, no. Remember that one video where you're like,
I'm Evie, and welcome to Living for Crits.
You got so mad at me when I didn't do that right. You're like, we have to do it, and we have to professional. I'm Evie, and welcome to Living for Crits. And you're like, cut the tape. No, we have to redo it. Everyone go upstairs. Shoot. Oh my gosh. And we had our camera out, and we had everything cleared out in the kitchen. It had to be silent. We had to unplug the world.
You had to unplug the refrigerator.
Yeah, we had to unplug the freaking refrigerator. And we're sitting there, and we're like, and because if I messed up, you'd be like, oh my goodness, we have to redo it again. Ugh. And you'd be like,
I don't remember being like that.
I'm living for crits.
That is not exactly how it went.
That's how it went in the beginning.
It's a little overblown.
Oh, well, that's...
Fickle GM said it sounds just like me, though. Mm-hmm. That's great. Thanks. All right, we're going to wrap up here. If you want to find us elsewhere, it's at I Live for Crits on Twitter, Living for Crits on Instagram, or you can search Living for Crits on YouTube for the catalog. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching it on YouTube. Also, if you think any of these tips were useful for your playing groups, please share the video with friends and family. And my outro ASMR is just going to be Forsythia.
Your face went like that. I'm not gonna laugh. I was gonna be like, should I don't know if I should use or not.
What are you doing?
Okay. I think I'm just gonna do Sus!
That wasn't ASMR, it was screaming.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sus!
Have a good night, everybody. I need to
Good night.
sanitize this microphone.
You do.